Welcome back to video number 2. History is repeating itself with Archie, isn't it? So let's jump in and cover this. You're going to like this video. Let's go. We know, do we not, that Harry is extremely unhappy because there's all this talk going around about who his real father is. Remember? Oh, it was James Hewitt. Oh, it was this person. Oh, it was that person. People constantly looking at the ears and the faces, doing these split screens. I would love to give credit to the person on Twitter who did this. I don't know who it was. Making comments about how many lovers Diana had. And Harry said he would never do that to his son, but then he did. Articles are coming out that the reason nobody is seeing Harry and Meghan's kids is because Harry wants to keep their lives private. Well, that's perfectly fine. The problem that people are having is with all the controversy surrounding Archie's birth. Let me explain. Let's just delve into this, okay? Let's go. To start with, Meghan had the weirdest pregnancy known to man. The belly was there, the belly was not there, the belly was up, the belly was down around her knees. The belly was huge, only to have it shrink a few days later. Or in the same day. It was small in the morning, huge in the afternoon. We all remember what happened when she went to the animal shelter here. Her belly literally just folded over on itself and disappeared. And who can forget this one where Meghan stood up, there was a popping noise, and the stomach came out to meet her hand. It was the weirdest thing. Here it is again in slow motion. She stands up, and then all of a sudden she puts her hand and the belly pops out to meet her hand. Have you ever seen anything like that? Then, of course, later on, they released these pictures. I'm sorry, I don't believe these photos. I do not believe that is an actual pregnant belly. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Who can forget this video? Whose pregnant belly moves like that? Nobody's pregnant belly wobbles left to right. Nobody's. That is completely unnatural. Almost like she had a water balloon underneath her dress. How about the fact that she was a geriatric mother who had no swelling in her face and absolutely no swelling in her ankles? None. Walked around on these huge high heels and didn't swell. Even Catherine swelled. The next thing that happens is the palace gets a notice and puts out a notice to everybody that the Duchess Meghan went into labor at 2:04 p.m. and a second announcement was put out 36 minutes later that at 2:40 p.m. she had already had the baby. Buckingham Palace later, apologized for quote-unquote technical difficulties, while Harry and Meghan's head of communication, who at the time was Sarah Latham, described the incident as a colossal tech failure. The statement saying she was in labor was sent 8 hours after she'd already given birth, supposedly at 5:26 a.m. Now, of course, these all happened at different times, but we're going to keep going. Stories came out. This is the only thing I do believe. Harry was high on laughing gas. Because apparently, while Meghan was in labor, which feels like your insides are being ripped apart, Harry was sucking down Meghan's laughing gas. And the story is when the nurse came in to check, he sheepishly looked up and said, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, that would be so illegal. I'd like to know what nurse did that because she should lose her license. According to Harry, Meghan got an epidural and then got into a bathtub. You can't get into a bathtub after you've had an epidural. Also, according to Harry, they left the hospital 2 hours after the birth, which, Meghan wouldn't have been able to walk if she had an epidural. So all of this is going on, and then the notice comes out that the Duchess of Sussex has been delivered of a son. What the notice is supposed to say is the Duchess of Sussex has delivered a son. Very odd wording. Then, of course, the announcement came out, and this is where it gets really weird. It wasn't signed off by any doctors, which means nobody witnessed the birth. Now, when you look at the 3 birth certificates from Catherine's children, they're all signed off and official. So people are questioning, where did this baby come from? Then they start putting pictures up on social media. The one on the right is the one Harry and Meghan posted. The one on the left is a stock photo. So nobody even knows, what the kid looks like. Not long after this popped up saying that Harry and Meghan used a surrogate, and then it was taken down almost immediately. And people were like, wait a minute. Of course, we have the christening photos that everybody thinks is photoshopped. I mean, it was just all kinds of weird things going on. Now, Harry and Meghan also absolutely refused to take the photo out in front of the hospital. And Meghan gave every excuse under the sun. And Oprah, she said it was because they wouldn't give him a title and we were offering up our baby. That has nothing to do with it. It was the tradition and she knew it. Later, she said it was because she delivered at Portland Hospital and they were told that if they delivered there and there was a photo call, they would be blocking the emergency room and it wasn't allowed. And her doctor said no. And that's great, except Portland doesn't have an emergency room. And Fergie and Andrew gave birth to their 2 children there, and they had no trouble doing a photo call. So she lied there also. So could it be that there was no photo call because she didn't deliver the baby? Think about it. The surrogate could have gone into labor. They went to the hospital. The surrogate had the baby. They leave the hospital quietly with the baby, go back to Frogmore, and then put out this story about how Meghan had the baby and they just refused the photo. Think about it. So then the next thing happened. Meghan Markle had her name changed on Archie's birth certificate. And everybody went nuts and said the palace did it. The palace did it to snub her. How dare they? They removed the name Rachel Meghan Markle from the name of the mother and simply put the Duchess of Sussex. And everybody went, wait a minute, why is the palace doing this? So finally, Meghan speaks out and says, I didn't do it. And she put out a statement through Omid Scobie. She got this dude to lie for her. He said, as you can see, the change of name on public documents in 2019 was dictated by the palace as confirmed by documents from senior palace officials. This was not requested by Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, nor by the Duke of Sussex. To see this UK tabloid and their carnival of so-called experts choose to deceptively whip this into a calculated family snub and suggest that she would oddly want to be nameless. Blah, blah, blah. You get the point? The palace that never complains, never explains, decided to defend themselves and pointed out that Meghan Markle's office is the one who dictated the change. Upon this coming out, Meghan steps forward and says, oh, yeah, I did it because I wanted continuity of my name across all documents. Bull crap. I think they did this because there are specific laws about surrogacy in the UK, and I think this went the way it did because they had to change the birth certificate after a certain amount of time passed. So, of course, as I showed you before, the picture would like to see the children. And instead, every single picture that they put out is massively photoshopped. When Archie was younger, he had straight black hair. Then there are some pictures of him older where he has curly black-brown hair. Then in the next photo they put out, he's got curly light brown hair with some red highlights. Then they put out pictures like this of Archie in the coop, but if you look closely at his right hand, it's backwards. It's heavily photoshopped. And then they put out a picture of him in the family Christmas card where his hair is blood red. It is the same thing for Lily. In one picture, she's blonde. In another picture, she has red hair. So he's created this situation with his son where people don't believe that Meghan gave birth to him. So he has now done to Archie the same exact thing that was done to him. Bravo, Harry. All right, you guys know what to do. Put those comments down, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and hit the all notifications bell. Go down into the description box where you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, my Amazon wish list, a physical address in case there's something you want to send. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.